The idea that General Mills should immediately enter the U.S. quick service and dining industry by creating their own restaurants or diners is the alternative that we rejected. Hello, I'm Zack Williams, and I will be presenting my rejecting the alternative. The option that General Mills opening their own diners was not terrible overall. Through ownership, General Mills would have much more control over how customer service, employee training, food quality, and treatment of their famous brands like Betty Crocker, Pillsbury, and Cheerios are treated. The option would also allow for the company to avoid sharing profits with a partner. Even so, the current capabilities that General Mills currently have does not fit. We believe that company ownership should not be the first step. They have experience in managing major brands, working with suppliers, making food products, and selling products, but supplying products to a restaurant setting and operating a restaurant setting are two different tasks. General Mills doesn't have enough experience in operations like hospitality staffing, kitchen operations, and employee scheduling around busy rushes. The gaps described matter due to the fact that the success of a restaurant depends on the consistency of operations. The brand recognition of General Mills could convince people to visit the diner once, but then they will not return if there is poor or inconsistent food service or overall experience. The hardest question to answer is not if people will recognize General Mills, but if a branded restaurant has the ability to create repeat demand in an industry with many substitutes, strong competitors, and low switching costs. General Mills won't know if the concept works or not, so company ownership will risk their finances. Company-owned restaurants that fail have the ability to leave the company responsible for equipment, leases, and closing costs. On the other hand, a partnership is much easier to reverse because it allows General Mills to see how customers react without having to create an entire restaurant and everything that comes with it on their own. The trade-off, however, means that with a partnership comes less control for General Mills as well as shared profits. We believe this trade-off is beneficial because experienced operators have the capabilities of operating a restaurant that General Mills does not. In order to reduce the risk, there needs to be a well-defined agreement that says the service standards, training requirements, and performance standards needs to be maintained at a high level. Our group rejected company ownership as a first move, not the idea of eventually having company ownership. General Mills should make the consideration if the partnership proves that locations can be profitable, customers return, and the brands have the protection they need.